What we're going to cover here is we're going to talk about the actual stance, the cat stance, which is kind of like this position here. The mad cat gets scared, it goes, kind of comes up in that crouch position, kind of hunches its back a little bit. So if you think of it 90 degrees, you're kind of right up in here. And what you're doing with the front leg is you're going to bend it and lift up the heel. You have a soft bend on the other leg, so if they come on this knee, the knee will bend instead of hurt. If I do this would be my right lead cat stance, the left side would be here. Just think of it like an L shape here on the feet. One's pointed this way, one's pointed that way. Then you lift the knee up. Some people will have the cat stance like here, some people have it here, some people have it here. Typically it's going to be somewhere between your heels touching your ankle and about a step or a half step forward. My hands stay up in some cases, sometimes my hands are already down. If I'm in the fighting stance and I transition to maybe a groin kick, I might transition into that cat stance before I snap that kick out, right? Or if I'm going from the fighting stance to a headshot, I might transition, coil the foot back before I kick it, right? Sometimes you don't have a lot of distance, so I'm in a crowded area. There's a wall on this side, there's people on this side, there's a bar stool, there's tables, there's chairs, there's an opponent here. I don't have room to go in that fighting stance, right? I don't have room, or I don't want to leave myself open and go in that horse stance either, because I don't even have room to tackle them. So there's people behind them, there's walls behind them, there's tables, there's chairs, there's bar stools. So we're in a very tight setting. So at least right here, I'm in a position where I can knee him if I needed to. I can come around and sweep him if I need to. But I have a little protection from my groin, right? I'm not just staying here so he can grab him or punch it or kick it. So I have some protection for this part. Or I might be on the other side and I might just be here with the left foot, or I might be turned this way with the right foot, or I might be back over here. So it doesn't matter if it's right or left leg. I don't really want, if this is the scenario where the wall is here, I may not want to be left lead here, because now I got the back side and the buddies can be over here. So I may want to just stay here in this position here so I can fight here. I've got my wall to the back. I have some protection. So the cat stance works good there. One drill that you can practice with, because we don't have a lot of room from the fighting stance, normally we turn our whole torque into our punches. We don't have that much room. So if I'm here in my right lead cat stance, I can use the hip to power in, and there's a punch from there. Or I might be in this position here and I might have to torque by stepping or elbowing, but see, I finished off with the opposite lead, and then I can go back to here. So think about as I step through and switch cat stance leads, that could be your transition. I can pivot here, or I can just simply switch leads here. So this might be switching leads, but adding that power in a tight setting. So that's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at your cat stance, if you think of it like a cha-cha-cha, so I kind of come forward and back, left leg's forward, right leg's forward, then right leg's back, and you repeat. Left is kind of stationary. Could be the same thing. This is my cat stance here. I'm here, this is my cat stance here, and then I'm back to here, this is my cat stance here, which is the same foot pattern if I were to dance, right? Cat stance, cat stance, cat stance. So it's a good drill to kind of practice. Opposite side, cat stance. I come back, cat stance. I come back to the same lead cat stance. So 1, 2, 3. Or I can start with the opposite side here, and same idea. We've got 1, 2, 3. So practice this drill here where we're turning, and then I can go elbow, elbow, and use that body position for the torque. If I pivot, you can pivot, but you don't have a lot of room. If I step, that kind of helps out as well. Or I step, there's my elbow. So it's just a good drill to practice in a torque setting where it's very tight, and I'm in the cat stance. What can I do with my elbows? What can I do with my grabs? What can I do with my knees? Can I trip them around? Can I do it from the other side? Can I grab him a knee? Can I grab him, wrap him around? Can I wrap him? All that's going to transition from your cat stance. So practice that.